Okay, we are live. Welcome to another edition of Carnivore Mastermind live. I have with me this evening an excellent guest panel here, and we're going to be discussing eating out on carnivore, whether that be going out to restaurants, traveling, road trips, going to work, bringing your lunch to work, doing this outside of the comfort zone of our own kitchens, how to deal with that, how to prepare things that are going to keep you on track, and some tips from our panel. And then we've also got some input from our poll of the week this week, which was also really good. Just some ideas about how to make this sustainable in your life, because I think it's one thing to be able to cook at home all the time and stick to your way of eating. But then when we get out into these other situations, especially if you're a newer carnivore, or, you've had trouble sticking to it in the past, these are some of the situations that can be the most difficult, I think. I know they have been for me in the past. And so I think this is hopefully will be a helpful conversation and provide some good tips for everybody out there. So before we kind of go around the panel this evening, I'll bring up the poll for this week and just kind of go over the results here. So I asked you guys, let's see here, how often do you eat out at restaurants or other people's homes, and how does that go for you? And the really overwhelming majority, 69%, said rarely, really for special occasions only. And then that was followed up by 19% said never, I always eat at home. And then we had 9% say often, I travel or I just enjoy it. And 3% said all the time, the neighborhood steakhouse knows me by name. So sounds like, at least from the 469 votes we got this week, it's a rare occasion. But still, I think it's good to discuss this, because even those rare occasions can be stumbling blocks sometimes if we're not careful. And so we got some variety of comments here this week too, so definitely something to check out if you haven't already. And so I think I usually go clockwise, I think, around here. So we'll start with Robin. And I think, if we want to just if you want to introduce your channel and yourself first, and then in case, someone's tuning in for the first time or hasn't met you yet, and then give us your thoughts about eating out and how you handle that as a carnivore.
Well, hello, everybody. Good evening. My name is Robin Heron, and I am your carnivorous grandma. My channel is at Carnivorous Grandma, Grama. So a lot of people get confused by that, but that's what my grandkids call me. So I just cut out the grand, just said grandma. So for me, I was one of that 3% that said that I eat out a lot. Now the neighborhood steakhouse doesn't necessarily know my name, but I go there a lot. So I do end up eating out quite a lot. I've learned to order a la carte. And so I just recently did a video about this at Olive Garden, about how to order your food, how to order just meat and no pasta. When I was on keto, I did the same thing. I would order my food with I would order like a chicken Alfredo or something, but I would order it over broccoli when I was on keto. So just learning how to customize your food to be what you want it to be. Now, when I go to other people's houses, I always bring a dish, because a lot of times they will, they'll have meats that have sauces on it, or they'll have like something that's breaded or stuff like that. So I usually bring steak bites, because it's real easy to cook and everybody loves them. And so whenever I bring that, the people just go crazy over it. They always eat it all up. So steak bites is super easy. When I think about traveling, which I do fairly often, I do travel for work sometimes. Same thing, I like to stay in a hotel that has a kitchen, so that I can cook my own food, and I'll go shop and then I'll cook my own food in the hotel, so that I don't have to go out. But if I do end up going out, I just order all the meats. I order the meats and that's what I eat. So for me, it's often, it's just me and my husband. I don't have any little kids at home. Sometimes I have my grandkids here, but it's easy for us to go out once or twice a week to eat. So that's pretty much how I'm handling it these days.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, those are good tips. I do try the a la carte thing. A lot of places I find that does work. Some people look at me like a deer in the headlights, like, what do you mean? Like, just a burger patty,
Yeah.
with nothing else.
Yep.
Or so it kind of depends. But yeah, I find that works well for me as well a lot of the time. So all right, scoot over to Larry.
You're on mute, Larry.
You're muted.
My bad. This is Larry Allhands from Austin, Texas. How y'all doing? I'm the Carnivore Soldier. So as we say in Austin, all right, all right, all right. If you haven't seen Matthew McConaughey's movie, you need to check it out. And where he says that, it's great. But Days Confused, I think it was called. So that's where I get that from, the all right, all right, all right. But that's how I start my videos usually. So dining out, I don't dine out very much. But when I'm running errands and if I get hungry and I don't think a drink's going to do it, because I'll sometimes just get a drink, then a lot of times I'll just get like burger patties. And I go to my, or in Texas, you can also go to barbecue because there's barbecue in every corner here. So if I'm going to get burger patties, I'll definitely go to like, I know it's, just like a drive-through, like In-N-Out or even Wendy's, because I know they have good quality burger patties, relatively good, for fast food. And then, but if I'm in a restaurant, sometimes I order burger patty as well, because that's the low-hanging fruit. It's so easy. And, the only thing is you've got to make sure that when you order, and usually burger patties aren't fried with other fats, which is good. Like steaks, they may fry with a grill spray or with some kind of oil, and it's typically a vegetable oil. And I don't want that in my diet. So I will ask it be fried on butter or lard. And I have a card I made up, and there'll be a link in this video. I think Nia put it in there. It's a food allergy card that basically says, hey, I'm allergic to all vegetable oils, and these are good fats that you can fry with, and don't use these ones. So it just makes my discussion point really easy. Just hand that to the waiter, and they could take it to the chef. They're like business cards, so it's really easy. But so when I do go out, barbecue is like, if I'm going to go out, it'll be barbecue a lot of times. Because you can get like fatty cuts. You can order what's called extra moist brisket here, which means it's got lots of fat in it. I mean, literally like half the meat is fat. And when you order it extra moist, it is fantastic. And if you order, and usually most barbecue places here, it's just smoke and salt and maybe some pepper. If it's good barbecue, they won't do much else. And if it's good barbecue, you won't need sauce in Texas. Barbecue sauce is kind of an abomination from the barbecue point of view, I think. If you have bad barbecue, you need sauce, right? So if you have good barbecue, the meat just tastes great the way it is. So I will usually like take my son out and we'll go to get some barbecue. And here in Texas, barbecue's everywhere, even at our grocery store. So one of our favorite barbecue places is our grocery store, and our second favorite one is our gas station. So I mean, that's the way we roll here in Texas. So it's super easy to pick up gas and barbecue at the same time, or go get groceries and barbecue. And that's a good tip too. Like if you're going to go grocery shopping, you eat barbecue first, then go to the grocery store. You're not even going to be hungry. You don't even look at other stuff. You're just there to pick up what's on your list. And so going out to other people's houses, I would say, I eat before I go, so I'm not very hungry when I get there. And if I was going to bring something, it would probably be like deviled eggs, because I know everyone likes them, and I can make them carnivore with my carnivore mayonnaise, and I like them, so I could down a bunch of those, and they're super healthy. So that's probably what I would do. And I definitely just drink water when I'm out, So yeah, going out and eating, I don't do it much because it's so dang expensive, and it never tastes nearly as good as what I make at home. So that's just me though. But that's all I got. Like I said, that link to that card should be in the video, and she put it in the video description. I'll put it in the chat too, just so anyone wants to take a look at it can. you can download it for free.
What kind of grocery stores are you getting barbecue at? I never see that in Dallas.
H-E-B. I don't know if they have HEB in Dallas.
No, we don't. We have Central Market, which I think is
that's
owned by
owned.
HEB.
Yeah, that's the HEB version of Whole Foods. That's their upscale,
Yeah,
but I don't think they have barbecue there.
Store.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only been there a couple times. That one's a little bit of a drive from where I am, so I don't go there often, but I didn't see any there.
Our HEB has a barbecue and a bar. The bar's upstairs, open until 9 o'clock at night. So they have like happy hour and stuff. So you can like go drinking and then go grocery shopping.
Just live there.
Oh, Texas is pretty amazing. Yeah, it's an amazing place to live. It is. I love Texas. Okay.
Well, whenever I'm down there, I'll have to go to HEB.
You have to go to HEB. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay. We'll go down to Miss Ellie.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ellie from Nourishment Redacted. I make videos about my experience on the keto and carnivore diets. My heaviest weight used to be 240 pounds. I'm now in the 170s. I used to be depressed and I had horrible panic attacks and I had like horrible rosacea, and I found so much healing and more, but I've found so much healing on these diets. And so how do I stay carnivore while eating out? And the truth is that I'm trying not to. Not that I'm eating off plan, but I'm trying to avoid it because I feel like coming from a background where I had a lot of happy memories in restaurants, and I kind of seeked it out. I remember back when my husband and we first started dating, that was all we ever did was, oh, let's check out this restaurant, or let's go to this fast food place. And that was one of the first things that I actually, on my health journey, that I cut out was eating fast food, because my husband has ulcerative colitis, and it's really like, his colon's very damaged. Let's just say it how it is. And so we just want to eliminate as much pain that he might have. So that was one of the first things on the chopping block, was like gone. I used to eat out in the beginning. So I'm coming up to about a year in May on carnivore. And I would say that I did eat out in the beginning, like Texas Roadhouse, and you just get steak and some shrimp or something like that. I never felt good just like telling them like, oh, can I have this, but then take this out and take this out, take this out. I know they're willing to do it as long as you're polite and you tip well and you're willing to like work with each other. But I personally, I'm so shy and reserved. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm so shy and reserved that I just like feel like I can't do that yet. So I usually abstain. We are trying to pursue carnivore as a family, for the most part. But the truth is I let my kids eat when we go out. I let them eat whatever they want, particularly my daughter, who is like 3.5, and my son is 1.5. I kind of let them eat whatever they want. And then when we're back home, we cook what mama makes, and it's carnivore. And, so yeah, I thought I was going to be the minority in the poll, which was like that I never eat out. But that was quite surprising to me. I thought I was going to be like, nope, you got to stay home. But I do recognize that there are times when you're not going to have food. And so that's why when I know that we're going to be going out, I have to be preemptive. I have to think ahead. And some simple things is just like, hashtag purse bacon, and having cuts of cheese, and I bring some berries for the kids, and making some cold cuts. I mean, they're not the best ingredients, but they're in a pinch. I'll go up to the deli counter and ask for X, Y, and Z, and just make little like roll-ups with those. And but yeah, like the most part, I try to avoid the restaurants because of just money. Honestly, we're on a pretty tight budget. I think almost everyone is at this point, let's be honest. But I am glad that I don't put emphasis on the food anymore, where it's like, oh, if I want to have a good time or I want to connect with friends, I need to go to a restaurant to do that. Instead, I can invite them into my home. We can have a meal here, or not even have a meal at all if they're not hungry. and we can focus on what I think what a lot of people seek is to have a venue where you can open up with your friends. Like some people, they can't open up with having a beer in their hand or like ordering some food. I feel like it kind of like creates this like comfort barrier. And I think what we should strive to do is, create those environments in our own home if we can, or if we are to go out, don't worry so much about the food, but worry about the connection. So that's my 2 cents.
That's great. I relate to so much of that because when it gets to my turn, I'll kind of comment more. But I worked in restaurants for almost, well, what was it, age 20 to 12 years, 13 years, and so that was my job, was to create this experience for people, as a server, as a bartender. And so alcohol and food and ambiance and all those things, like that was so ingrained in my head, of like, this is what it's about, and this is how people connect, and this is how you can, have socializing and all this kind of stuff. And my whole world was based around that. All my friends and all my, after work activities involved that to some degree. And so letting go of all that, you really do have to kind of relearn how to make friends and have different activities that don't always revolve around food. Or it can be hard doing it eating this way. So, thank you. Cammy, you're next.
Hi, my name is Cammy. My channel is Last Day of Normal, and I've kind of just recently adopted more of a canning kind of perspective. Like I'm canning a lot right now. So if you want to see how to preserve your meat long term, come to my channel. So I've been carnivore for just over a year. I've lost 50 pounds. I was up at 240, just like Ellie. I'm only 5'3", so I was like bowling ball shaped. And but I'm not where I want to be yet. And I'm going lion right now. And so the scale is starting to move again. And for me, with autoimmune conditions, I have to be really, really strict in order to continue healing. So, I was just kind of parking it for a while, just resting my body and healing. And now we're going to hopefully continue on that healing process. So eating out, last year in June and July, me and my daughter went on a 5-week RV trip. So I pulled it, just me and my 10-year-old at the time, RV. And so I learned a lot. And I the whole time I did not eat one bite of anything that was not meat. It was not, everything I ate was carnivore. And we were with family. We were eating out all the time. We were eating at their houses. And it just was not a temptation for me because I had a goal. I wanted to get better. I wanted to feel better. And I wanted to keep losing weight. I was just completely driven. There's also a part of me that likes to be different than other people and to feel a little bit kind of special and superior, perhaps. So I didn't mind that part either, of them kind of being like rolling their eyes. That doesn't bother me when people get irritated about that. I just think it's funny. So I had no problem. I would just eat before we went out, and I just made sure that I had meat with me all the time. And even hot dogs are better than eating out at a restaurant. So if you're going to a barbecue, bring a pack of hot dogs, because then other people can share them and you can control what kind of hot dog you're eating. I get either like the kosher or the Nathan's. Those are the two brands that I like. But now that I'm eating like Lion and Super Pure, even those give me a stomach ache. Your body just gets used to better and better food. But like bringing hot dogs, that's easy. Or, bring a steak that you can throw on the barbecue yourself, something that they haven't pre-seasoned with anything. But as far as road trip food, when we went on the RV trip, normally on a road trip, you're drinking pop, you're eating chips, you're eating salty food, and you are miserable. And I always thought that was from being in a car. It wasn't. My pain was from the horrible food I ate on the road, and getting getting chocolate and, you know, something terrible at every single gas station. It felt like the road owes me this food, but it was just so terrible for our bodies. So what I found was Tillamook meat sticks, and they are the cleanest that I can find at Walmart. So Walmart carries the Tillamook meat sticks, and they were the cleanest that I could find. They're expensive, but I ate those on the road, and water and meat sticks, and it was fantastic. I brought some bacon, and right here, homemade beef jerky. It's the best. I drive for an Amish guy, and when he needs me there all day long, I'll bring this whole thing, and I'll just drink water and eat homemade beef jerky, because it's just like eating hamburgers that I make. It's the same meat, but I can take it with me, and it's clean. My hands are still clean afterwards. It's wonderful. And so if you're on a trip and you're out in the world, my tip is, if you go to the grocery store super early in the morning, they're clearing out their like last day meat, and you scoop that off the shelf. That is what I ate in the RV the whole time. Take your cast iron skillet and eat that cheap meat. And traveling doesn't have to be that hard. I did one day decide, okay, fine, I'll eat with you guys. And we were at a Denny's, and I ordered scrambled eggs and sausage, and like I tried to get all meat. I had diarrhea within 30 minutes. I was sick. It was the seed oils and whatever was in the meat. So after that, I'm like, it's just not worth it. I can't trust these places. You just eat. I just eat before you go. That is all I have.
Yeah, I can second a lot of that stuff. I make jerky, and I've started making those pemmican bars now. I will cook. The last trip we went on was one that I didn't know was going to happen. It was kind of like, oh, we're going somewhere tomorrow overnight. And so I just took like a sheet pan and put all the ground beef that I had in my fridge yet, because I didn't want it to go bad while we were gone either, and just baked that. And it kind of shrinks down into this like giant rectangle. All the fat renders out, so you can just let it cool, slice the patties up. And then I put all those in storage containers, like scoop the fat out, and I was like, cool, we're ready. You know, at least for me, that was like 2 days worth of food. So yeah, I think learning to make some things at home that are more shelf stable, like you're mentioning the jerky and things like that's always good. I mean, I bring a bag of jerky now with me. I've recently cut out ground beef, which is like tears, because I love burgers and the ground beef jerky that I was making. So I'm going to try it with brisket next, if I can get it sliced thin enough. But anyway, I always have a bag of jerky with me pretty much wherever I go, because it's like, if I get hungry or if I get tempted, you know, to eat something, then it's like, just have a couple bites of this and then the craving goes away. So agreed. All right, Christy.
Hey everybody, I'm Christy. My channel is Meeting Wellness, and I'm just a teacher in Southern California, and my channel is all about me and my cat Pixel. As you can see, she likes to get involved with me in this. But talking about eating out, I'm sort of a mix between, you know, Ellie, and then sometimes, you know, when you have to go out or there's a family event, you know, I don't shy away from it. So the main reason why I shy away from it, most of the time, it just generally is the expense, because it's going to be expensive. But then there's times like, oh, I don't know, like one day I had jury duty and I had to sit there. I was there all day. And so then I have to sort of know, you know, what I can do. So that day there was a couple places I considered. So I think I did the burger patties that day, but a lot of people have said that. So the other place, sometimes I'll even do like Chipotle, because you can order just the meat. And then if you do dairy, they also have like sour cream and cheese. So like if we have a work function, sometimes the teachers, you know, go out to lunch, because when we're actually teaching, it's hard to get away. But if we have a meeting, it's kind of a special thing and everybody wants to go eat together. So if I can find something like that, then that's what I'll do. The other times where I've had to really plan ahead is family functions. I or special functions. Like I had a couple of weddings, which is super weird because I hadn't been to weddings in a long time. But since going carnivore, I've had 2 weddings. And so I just asked ahead of time. So one of them was like a family wedding. My aunt actually got married. And I just asked ahead of time, and she was so nice and provided me all the menu options. And I decided, nope, there's nothing there for me. And so I just stuffed myself like full. And it was fine. So nobody was asking me, why aren't you eating? I just enjoyed, my whole family was there. And we just focused on, talking and taking lots of pictures and hanging out. And yeah, everybody was fine with the fact that I wasn't eating. So it used to make me a little nervous. Like Ellie said, I used to be a little bit shy of that, but I got over that real quick. One time my son, it was his birthday, and he's now eating kind of with me. He's meat-based keto, but for his birthday, this was before that, we went out to a restaurant, and I thought, okay, I'm going to call ahead. And I didn't want to pay for the steak because I knew it was going to be too small for me and it was going to be expensive. So I thought, oh, I can do like the chicken Alfredo thing, kind of like what Robin was saying. But when I called ahead, yeah, it was all full of seed oils, and it was kind of a sauce that they buy mostly already made. So I'm glad I did call ahead. So I just sat there. I had enjoyed my water. And then they had some like little pats of like real butter on the table. So yeah, I ate a couple of those. Hashtag bite butter. But it was fine. And again, sometimes my family's like, did you just eat butter? And I'm like, yes, I did. But they're used to me doing that now, I think. Otherwise, the only other time is like when we go on a vacation, right? So my husband and I will take trips. We have one planned for June. And I mean, he knows by now. So he just plans to, we go to a steak a lot, or burger patties. That's like my go-to. Sometimes chicken wings, if I can find them, like Buffalo Wild Wings where they fry them in tallow. Then I can do that. I mostly eat beef, but especially if we're out like on a trip or some special occasion too, I'll throw in more chicken or pork if I need to do that. So I think, Nia, you also mentioned packing for work. So I'll touch on that. I didn't hear anyone else touch on that. So teaching is kind of its own special, breed, I guess. We have a very scheduled, regimented time. We get 45 minutes and it's at this time, and that's when it is. And that's what we got. So I usually will boil up 10 to 12 eggs, and I have just a bunch of hard-boiled eggs. Depending on how much dairy I want to do, sometimes I'll bring a little bit of cheese, and then I'll bring my homemade bone broth. So nowadays, when I buy steaks, I used to cry like over, oh no, I paid all this money for these bones that I'm just throwing in the trash. But now I purposely go for the bone and ribeyes. And then I freeze those bones in a bone bag. And when the bag gets full, I pop them into my Instant Pot and stick them in there for about 3 hours with some water and some salt and a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and it makes really good bone broth. So I'll bring a jar of that. And then my newest thing is I'll bring picanha bites. So so Robin talked about steak bites, picanha bites, Robin. It's a thing. I invented it. And so, yeah, I have my leftover slices of picanha. I'll just cut those into bites. They're delicious. They're even good cold. So that's easy. So those are the things I'll do. And it's usually all prepped because I'll make a picanha on the weekend, and then I'll have, a couple of days worth of picanha bites for lunch. So as long as I plan ahead, I always have something. I've been known to bring bacon too. Somebody said, do you heat that up? And I'm like, nope. Crunch, crunch. Yeah, they thought I was weird. It's fine. It's delicious. And I think that pretty much covers it for me.
Awesome. Yeah, I was thinking about you in particular with the bringing stuff to lunch, because I think I've heard you talk about it before on one of your videos or live streams or something. And I thought, yeah, that's something I don't even think about really anymore because I'm just home all day. So, I'm always just here and it's convenient. So it's like, oh, what would I pack if I had to? Or how would I do that? Is it good, Bookers?
it taped? Is it better?
Awesome. Yeah, I just have a few things to add to that. And I think, as far as going out to restaurants, I kind of touched on how, there is that mindset component that we, like Ellie mentioned too, where you kind of just have to come to terms with whatever you're comfortable with, and just kind of make that decision. Like, hey, and I'm seeing comments go by in the chat too, which I'm going to put up on screen as well, of different approaches kind of to that also. Like, we can start there, I guess. Keto Simple says, I think understanding how to navigate eating out is a huge skill to acquire. And I agree. I think it's just something that deserves attention and that you can think about and change perhaps as you go along your journey. Like, I know in the beginning for me, it was really hard for me to go out to eat and not indulge in something, even if it was like some salad, because I used to like salad, and I ate salad for a long time. And I don't, I love Caesar salad with Caesar dressing, and I would never eat the croutons for years and years anyway. But, anchovy and salad dressing, and Parmesan cheese. And so even things like that, those would be tempting to me in the beginning. And my partner is a sushi chef. And so he loves food. He loves to eat. He loves to go out and experience, different cuisines and stuff like that. And so that was kind of something we had to figure out too, like as a couple, knowing like what I'm comfortable with. And so I think, if you happen to be the only carnivore in your household, or not everybody in your family or your friend group, eats like you, it might be worth having that discussion with the people you love, who, you trust and you're close enough with, that you would want to, make that effort to do that. Just so that maybe you're not always being called like, hey, let's go out to the bar, or let's go out to this restaurant or something like that. If that is a temptation, or if it's hard for you to deal with, especially if you're just starting out. And so that's something like we talked about. It's like, hey, I want to go out and enjoy this stuff with you, but some of these places we go, it's really hard for me. Like Mexican food is one thing that's like, I just can't find anything on the menu that doesn't have seasoning or sauce. I mean, sometimes you can find like fajitas, but usually they're still covered, they're marinated, or they're covered in oil, they're cooked in oil, something like that. So that's one thing where I'm like, I just can't really do certain types of restaurants. So we've kind of settled on this Korean barbecue place that's, I don't know, it takes us like 30 minutes to get there, but we go there almost once a week because Ben loves it. The little one, she gets rice, which she doesn't get at home. And so like, she'll just eat the little bowl of rice and she's a happy camper. And they bring out all the meat raw. So I get raw brisket, I get beef tongue and ribeye, and it's thin sliced. So I know there's been no oils that have touched it. It's completely unseasoned, and I can control what I put on that little grill that's in front of us. And so I can cook it to the temperature I like, and it's all you can eat. And so really that's the only place that I enjoy going, because it's something that I can easily do. And I know for sure, because like I mentioned, I worked in restaurants for years and years and years. So I've seen many, many kitchens, you guys. And I don't know if anybody's seen the movie Waiting, but if you have, that is in some places or in some organizations, like that's not a far cry from what happens back there sometimes. Like, especially if you irritate your server, you never know what might happen to, it's not as bad as that movie, but sometimes people just don't know the answer. So like, say you were to give your server that card that says, I can't have any of these seed oils. Number one, most kitchens, unless you're at some kind of fine dining, French, super fancy steakhouse or something like that, they're not going to have real butter in their kitchen at all. They're not going to have ghee. They're not going to have tallow. They're not going to have they're not going to have any of that. Any kind of butter stuff is going to be cut with vegetable oil. Like we were talking about, I think backstage, olive oils, you can't really trust those at all anymore. So even like oil and vinegar that we used to put on people's tables for salad dressings, if they wanted oil and vinegar, was not real olive oil.
Right.
And so sometimes servers don't know what this stuff is, and they don't know. So like, I think having a card like that is a great idea, because at least it spells out, the things. And so if you can get that to a manager, usually is if you hand that to like, and this is nothing against the individual people, but like if you hand that to your average line cook or server, like they may not know what those things are, and they may not know what's in that little jug of oil that they're spraying on the flat top, you know, constantly to cook things with. Obviously, anything that goes in the deep fryer is seed oils, 100%. And so essentially what they'd have to do to accommodate that is to, because if you have like a shellfish allergy come in, they'll have to, you know, take the pan and go run it through the dishwasher to make sure it's clean and sanitized, and then clean the area around it, and then only cook your order on that pan or that portion of the flat top, which is probably full of other people's stuff because everything is working, you know, in tandem. And so it's, you know, it's a lot to ask depending on where you are and like the caliber of the place. And so they may, you know, they may to your face say, oh, sure, you know, we'll take care of that. But you, unless you're back there and you watch it, you really don't know 100% if that's what's happening, or if somebody just said, you know, what's this ticket? Like, I'm just going to do it like normal and then say it's fine. Because I've seen that happen before. And so it's, I mean, I think on the flip side of that, nowadays people are more used to hearing about food allergies, and there's a lot more awareness about different things like gluten-free and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, again, not necessarily blaming the individual people here, but it's just, you can't always trust it. Even if they say like, this is real butter, it might not be real butter. And so that's kind of the thing that just from being on the back end of that, I've seen over the years. And so the mindset that I kind of take with this is like, well, if I'm going out to eat, I'm just going to kind of accept the fact, outside of this Korean barbecue place, because I see the raw meat come out and I know exactly, you know, you can see that it's completely untouched. But I just kind of accept the fact, like, even if I ask, there's no guarantees that I'm still not getting this stuff on my plate, or there's not a marinade in this meat that nobody kind of really knew about. And so it's just kind of a risk that I feel like you take if you go out, unless you, again, are in like a super fancy place and they make like their own hollandaise sauce, or they make, you know, beurre blanc, or they make something like that where you know that butter was an ingredient in that or something like that. So that's kind of my feeling on it. But yeah, I like to prepare a lot of things at home for traveling. Pretty much, you know, a lot of the things that you guys already mentioned. And so that's kind of where I am at with it.
I wanted to just say that,
oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I found that there's this Chinese food buffet in my local area. A lot of times the kids will want to go there after church. So they'll convince like my husband or my father-in-law, they'll convince one of the guys that that's where they should go for lunch. And so I used to order the hibachi there. I would, you know, get in the line and I would just get the meat and the eggs. But then they have this block of what they're calling butter that they're seasoning the grill with. But the butter is sitting there, it's not melting at all, and it's right next to a hot grill. Like, so I ended up having a reaction to that, whatever they were putting on the grill. I'm assuming that it's like margarine or something that's some other kind of seed oil product. But so I just found that I couldn't even eat there, even though it's just all meat and eggs and stuff that I'm having them prepare for me. I just couldn't even eat there. So, but I do feel the same way as you. Like I said, I eat out once or twice a week, every week. So there are certain places that I know that I can go, and I'm not going to have a reaction to the food that I'm ordering. But that place in particular, I can't go there at all anymore, because I mean, I have to eat before I go, or I'll have to fast while I'm there and eat when I get home or something like that, because I react to whatever that is, that block of butter that they're putting on the grill.
Yeah, it's not really butter. It's maybe there's 30% butter in there or something, but
Yeah.
Yeah, you go look at the box and it's not.
If you're going like on a cruise, or to like you said, to a higher end place where they're going to actually have chefs and you know, they're basically trying to get your recommendation at the end of the cruise. Like they're trying to get your, you know, your sign off. So they're more sensitive. So if you're going to go on vacation, like an all expense paid place where it's kind of more upscale, then you can probably get away with the card and get better results, because they don't want you to get sick while you're there for that stay. And you're not only just eating there, you're living there. So that is probably more viable than just going out in town. And so I think you're right on that. But I have had good luck going to, and not use, I didn't have that card, but I went to Texas Roadhouse, and I knew that they use grill spray, and which is just a vegetable oil spray, which everyone uses, right? And I just said, hey, listen, I got allergy to that spray and any vegetable oil, so please just use a clean grill and throw butter on there and fry it on. Then they did that for me, and that worked out. But if you just tell them in plain English, a lot of people, at least again, I wasn't back there, so I didn't verify that. But I talked to someone else that did, and they had them prepped. One person asked for it that way, and the other one didn't, and they tasted both of them, and they tasted different. So you can tell it's been fried in butter. So you can do that test too, if you both order the same kind of thing, like meat, and when one's fried in a vegetable oil, it'll taste different than one fried in butter. So and the way they season it, and that. So I know that that's a possibility too. But you're trusting a third party. Even if you go to the drive-thru, I mean, you're trusting some complete stranger. You don't know what their health's like, what their cleanliness is like, what the kitchen's like. You have no idea. It's all behind a wall on purpose, because it's not pretty back there. I've worked food service too, and it's never pretty back there. It's just a mess. And some are organized messes, some are chaotic messes, but they're all messes. And you're just trusting a lot. So it's much safer to eat at home. It's much cheaper. It tastes better. I prefer to eat at home, but I get it. You can't always, right? So I get that. So that you do have to have options, but just be aware that you are trusting complete strangers that you don't know, that you would not trust with anything else, but you're trusting with what they're going to put in your mouth. So that's a lot.
Not only that, you're giving them money to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would suggest that, like my mom is keto. And for our birthdays are in the same month. And we went to like a local, it's like a family owned restaurant. So like not a chain. And they were super accommodating. Now they do have a grill there, like an outdoor grill, but they usually don't have it going for lunchtime. They usually do it at dinner. But for us, they like opened up the grill and they grilled our steaks for us. And we saw them do it because it's outside. So that was pretty cool. I would definitely go there again. They gave us like a side of butter, and then they gave us bacon for our birthday dessert, because they're like, okay, we know that you don't want the cake or whatever free dessert. What can we give you? Like, we didn't ask. They like knew that we were there for our birthdays because we called ahead. And then they're like, what can we bring you? And we're like, do you got any bacon back there? And so we got birthday bacon. So places like that, I feel, I don't know, could be a better option, than a chain. They're more invested, right, in the quality of what they put out there. And it's just, that restaurant, supports their family. So I would definitely go back because we had a great experience there. Maybe look for a place like that where you guys live.
That's or go ahead, Ellie.
Oh, I was just going to say, it just popped into my head, and it's kind of expensive, but you could always go for sashimi, especially if you enjoy seafood and sushi. That was something that I really enjoyed in my previous dietary life. I don't know how else to say it. What I was thinking was when we were talking about buffets, and there's something that I think we probably have all experienced. Like when you go to a buffet, you tend to eat more, right? You start packing it on, and or you have like, oh, I'm so stuffed, but then someone brings out dessert, and then you're like, oh, well, I can have dessert. I feel like it's so great that on Carnivore we don't really have that anymore, because like the food we eat, like I've learned since being on Carnivore that we eat till we reach our protein goal. So, and obviously the fat is satisfying as well. But I think a lot of times, like when people would go to buffets, they're filling up on all these carbs and desserts and all that stuff. And so they can just continue to eat and eat and eat. And I think it's so great that I think I can speak for all of us that we are able to just be so satisfied with the food, so that, like, I don't know, even if we get like we pay the price and we get the smaller portion, it's kind of like, yeah, this is going to hold me over, versus somebody who is still consuming the standard American diet. They're probably going to be like, that's all you're eating. And it's just like, I don't know. I just want to throw that out there and see what you guys thought about that.
Anyone? I don't want. I hate being the interrupter. I'm like,
Well, I want to comment on the
Okay, go ahead.
sashimi part.
Okay, so was I.
I
So you go first.
love sushi. Oh
Me
my
too.
gosh, I love the California roll, the spicy California roll, all the different special rolls. Oh my gosh, I just love those things. But of course, we can't have that on carnivore. So there is a local Japanese place that I go to with my husband sometimes, and I decided, we were there, I was going to try the sashimi. Now, I really never ate sashimi before carnivore. I always ate the rolls, even the hand rolls.
Same here.
But sashimi is so good. If you like fish, you definitely should try it. It's absolutely, it was so surprising to me, the different tastes that the sashimi had, all the different types of fish and how different they tasted and the textures. And I absolutely love it. It's super good. So just wanted to comment on that.
I
Yeah.
agree. I find if I go to eat sushi though, I eat beef beforehand, because like I could just sit there and tear through like 50 pieces of sashimi easy. I love mackerel, hamachi, toro, fatty tuna is so good. Ikra, I always eat the eggs and the salmon and everything. So like I could spend $200 easy, just on sushi. So just getting the raw, the no rice. So I will always eat before and then go there and be like, okay, I can have one sashimi platter and be fine. It's like
That's
dessert,
smart.
basically.
Dessert, it's your treat.
Yeah, it's dessert.
I gotta be honest. I miss eating sushi, and I miss wasabi and
Me too.
and my stock and I miss all that stuff. I mean the teriyaki, or not the teriyaki. What's the wasabi and
Like a soy sauce?
the soy sauce? Yeah, I do. I
Soy
miss
sauce,
that.
yeah.
I miss, and that's so you're gonna miss some stuff. But what I don't miss is being ill and being fat and being having a hard time tying my shoes and that kind of stuff. It's not worth it. I mean, but I gotta say there's certain things I miss, and that's one. Sushi. My son and I used to go eat sushi at this restaurant called Wasabi's. It was our favorite place here, and I haven't been since because I like sashimi too, but I like it with the
All the
condiments.
fixins.
Yeah, the condiments. So I mean that's the way it is. So I just stay away, and it's easy enough.
Yeah, my husband and I, we used to, I used to live in a house. So I used to rent it with a bunch of friends, and then they'd have like D&D games, and we would make sushi for, really simple
Nice.
rolls, like California rolls. We would make the sushi for everyone because we noticed how we were trying to get people to be a little bit more healthy, because they were just constantly eating out or getting fast food or pizza or Chinese food. And so we're like, oh, well, what if everyone pulls money in together, and we would make maki rolls and stuff like that. And there were a bunch of nerds. So they're just like,
Of course they are.
and they would eat it, and it would be, it would just see like a little bit of a cringe fest, but it would be fun.
I host D&D games now, and my son plays and his friends, and I'm like the dungeon master, right? So I make pot roast for all of them, and now they love it. They're like, "Oh, we having pot roast?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're having pot roast." In fact, we might play tomorrow night. So we have game night every now and then, and sometimes it's board games, sometimes it's D&D, but we just we have fun. And but I make sure they eat meat and no chips, no dips, none of that around my table. I'm the master of that table.
Yes, so I was gonna say, you're the dungeon master. You get to pick. That's awesome. I could see you being such a good DM. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
So
fun.
I'm derailing the conversation. I'm gonna mute.
Sorry. Yeah, we're derailing, but
Well, we've got a couple questions / comments that I thought we'd pop up here and see if we can get some comments on. And thanks for everybody who is chatting it up here tonight. We've got some great tips, great ideas. The first one was from, right around when we first started. So I hope you're still here, Yukon. But you say, I'm not American, traveling next week to Washington, D.C. as a tourist. I don't know the restaurants there, looking for tips. I'm doing 80-20 carnivore, mostly worried about not finding enough fats. So I'm not personally familiar with the DC area in general? Are any of you guys or ladies?
Buy some butter.
Yeah,
Buy
I've
a
been
block
there.
of butter at the grocery store.
Yeah, and then hopefully you can get I don't. Your hotel's probably already scheduled and everything, but hopefully you have a kitchenette. If you don't, then like I said, I did answer this in the chat, and I think ground beef patties wherever you go, you're going to find that everywhere. So if you're coming from you're not American, so I would say Wendy's is always safe. McDonald's is actually safe, and In-N-Out if they have that there. And then of course bacon and eggs for breakfast, as long as you ask that they're cooking in butter, because they don't. They will automatically cook in oil unless you ask for butter for like an omelet or something. So just ask, and that's pretty simple. They can cook in bacon grease or butter, but that's your go-to is eggs and ground beef, in my opinion.
And be careful on those omelets, because some places do add pancake batter to their eggs.
Right.
To make them fluffier.
Yeah.
So sneaky.
I know. So
Yeah.
I just usually go with over easy or scrambled or whatever.
Yep. Good call.
Yeah, we used to say,
Yeah.
when you're ordering, just say, I would like to use shell eggs. That way they're not using the carton.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because that happens too.
Mm.
that's a good call.
That's true. Yeah. I'm also doing 80/20, which is, I mean, if you're not tracking this, it's a lot of fat, and it is kind of something that if you're used to it, you know, depending on how long you've been doing this, you probably know what a average plate for you looks like, with like how much fat you would typically add to a meal. And so I think like this isn't something I've done, but I've thought about, like, and I don't do butter right now because I'm on the Lion diet, but I've thought about like just smuggling in like a little dish of butter in my bag or something, or even like some tallow, and like, and then asking, like, if they don't have real butter and they don't have tallow, or they don't have an appropriate fat source, I would just order a steak and then pull out my butter and just use it, and I mean, what are they going to do? Say it's like I'm allergic to all the other things. So I mean, like, it kind of just depends on, again, where you're going, but I would imagine that there's going to be quite a variety of places, so you could, again, kind of choose, even like Christy said, what, like a more home style type of place, they may be much more accommodating, like, than some super busy chain that's like, we ain't got time, to clean the pans and all this stuff for you. So there's so many things that it depends on. But yeah, I would definitely keep fat stocked on my person if I was going around and it was, it's essential that you get that much fat, because that's the same boat I'm in. Like, if I drop my fat below like even 75%, I stop sleeping well. So like it's like critical for me to keep that fat high. So I feel you. Good luck to you.
There's oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, so you kind of also said that they're driving there. So if you're driving, I would bring like a George Foreman grill or something that you could just buy a steak on and throw it in, or bring an Instant Pot, something where you can cook your own food and make sure that you have something that you can eat.
You can also supplement your meals with powdered butter. I know it sounds weird, but in the Army, I work with soldiers that are carnivore that are and they have to add fat to their meals because the MREs are low fat, the meals ready to eat, which are the packets of meals. So you can open up your meal, even though it's not great, and just pour a bunch of powdered butter in there and eat it. So you can bring in a Tupperware thing, like, or the powdered butter and sprinkle it on whatever you have, and that'll add a lot of fat too. And then it's shelf stable, right? And that's what you're seeking when you're out running around. Maybe you're seeing the museums in DC or whatever. You can bring a little container. Yeah, there you go.
I have also done this where I will, instead of bringing it in with you, I will bring it in the car. And like, if I'm going in someplace, like even that Korean barbecue place, where sometimes I get really fatty pieces and sometimes I get really lean pieces. And so I will eat sometimes like a couple tablespoons of tallow or something, like, before I go into a place. It's like, I know I have kind of like that base of fat already going. And then if you do just like have to order a regular steak or a burger patty or something like that, like, at least you got something in. So yeah, hopefully that helps. I know some of you were engaging with this question too in the chat, but I thought we would bring this one up here too. Isabel says 3 months carnivore, 71 years old, mainly 2 meals per day, losing a ton of hair and feeling very tired and no energy. Who has a comment? I have a couple,
Yeah,
but I've been
definitely
jabbing. So
increasing the fat. I think you said this in the chat, increasing the fat for sure. One of the things that I did, I lost a lot of hair on keto. I think I lost like half of my hair when I was on keto. And I started using collagen. So I mean, if you're drinking a lot of bone broth or doing a lot of things that contain a lot of collagen, which I wasn't when I was on keto. I was on really a plant-based keto, not even a high-fat meat-based keto. And so collagen really did help a lot, and I've been using it for many years now. And I got all my hair back, so my hair is pretty thick now, but back then I thought, wow, I'm gonna probably go bald because I lost so much hair. But yeah, so I use collagen for that.
Yeah, I agree with
Definitely electrolytes too for the tiredness. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I had the same experience losing the hair when I went keto and then carnivore. It fell out pretty steadily. I'd say I probably lost half my hair too. But now I think that was just a diet change. Like, this isn't related to your loss of energy, but as far as the hair loss, anytime you change your diet in a very, you go into a very different eating pattern than what your body's been used to. You can lose hair. I think it's called like telogen effluvium or something like that. It has a name for it. And I did what Robin did. I supplemented collagen. Now I make my own bone broth, which is all full of collagen. And yeah, now I have all these, I mean, they're annoying now, but I'm grateful for them, but all these little baby hairs and my hair is filling back in. So if you look at my hairline, it's like, it's all filling back in now. For the energy, I already mentioned this in the chat, but I think adding fat, because once you're fat adapted, that's where you get your energy from. My mom is also 71, and I know she will sometimes just not eat enough calories. And I'm like, you need to eat more than that, Mom.
Yeah.
She just has a hard time getting it in. And all those years of eat less, move more, right? It's like ingrained in our brains, she's like, but if I eat more than 1,200 calories, I gain weight. And I'm like, then you need to reverse diet. You need to eat more. So I'm always telling her that. So that would be my advice, as well as the electrolytes. If you feel like you need to supplement with those, I will get low energy or a little tired if I'm low on electrolytes or fat, either of those things.
I'll also add to that iodine. Most people are iodine deficient, and you can get a lot of the same kind of behavior in your body for not having iodine. So that's something else you can add. It's very inexpensive and easy to do, and it won't hurt you. A couple drops a day.
great. Yeah, that echoes most of what I would say. And I mean, I struggle with energy on and off. I mean, I still do to this day sometimes. And I think I have kind of 2 points on this. And because, I think I have quite a bit of healing still to go, and it's just taking time, and so I just have to accept some days that, like, I'm just not going to feel great every single day. I'm having longer and longer stretches of time where I do feel great and I have great energy and my skin isn't itchy and I'm, I have a good mood and stuff. But then I'll get these just like flare-ups where I'm just tired, and my psoriasis gets itchy, it's like something is just clearing out and it's just taking time. And so 3 months, I know sometimes that feels like a long time. I just closed out month 8 and I'm now over 2 weeks again on the Lion diet. So just red meat, salt, and water, nothing else. And I'm starting to feel like, and I've upped my electrolytes. And like I mentioned in the comments, I'm getting like a minimum of 150 grams of fat every day. I really, really always try to do that. And that fixed my sleep. I was waking up at 2 a.m. I'm about to publish this video. I almost got it done today, and then somehow my audio and video got out of sync and I cannot fix it. I've tried like 4 different things, so I might just have to refilm it or publish it that way, which I don't think I can do. But that's an important video that I will ask you to look out for, because I'm going to go into great detail about all of this type of stuff, like everything I've tried, everything I've tracked, everything I've measured to get my sleep in line. And with that, my energy has improved a lot. But spoiler alert, it's high fat, 80-20, and more electrolytes. Because once I switched to Lion again, I felt like my electrolytes were off, and I needed, like, now I'm drinking the last few days I've had 2 servings of like what would be in an element packet, and I'm feeling better. And that also helps with my digestion. So there's a lot of things to tweak, and then just sometimes giving it more time, trusting your body, trusting the process, and just giving it grace and letting the healing take place, I think is important too. So I feel for you. I know it's scary when you feel like, things aren't working.
Yeah, I just watched Larry's show about seed oils and the half-life of seed oils. And
yeah,
I mean, so we're eating bad for 50 years, and then we change how we're eating. And we have all these products in our bodies that either never go away or are going to take another decade to go away. And then we're losing weight, and we've got oxalates and lectins, and like we've got so much stuff. Every minute that we lose another pound, we're just being flooded by this stuff. Of course we're tired, we're exhausted, our bodies are just like treading water, but we're doing the best thing we can, which is eating this nourishing food. There's nothing else to do. I mean, we start there, that's the building block, and then we start all these other things too, but we're doing what we can. And she's only been doing it a couple months. It's gonna take years to really get through all this stuff. So we're all on the path.
Exactly. And and you can't compare yourself to other people either. So that's another error to make. And also, looking at the scale, there's a lot of error, there's a lot of things you got to watch out. And we call it the minefield. I'll call it the minefield of carnivore, because they'll get you. I mean, one of them is comparing yourself to someone else. Well, they've been on it 2 months and they're getting better results than me. Well, you don't know anything about that person and what their body's like, their metabolism, their history. I didn't eat a bunch of spinach. I don't have oxalate dumping. Nia loved spinach, so she ate a ton, or whatever she ate. I don't know, it had oxalates in it, or dark chocolate or whatever. I didn't eat that either. I mean, I wasn't that guy. I was a sugar guy. So to compare me to someone else that's got oxalates is completely different. I mean, so don't compare yourself to anyone else. This is N equals 1. This is you. And all you're trying to do is improve yourself. And you can only compare yourself to what you were yesterday and what you were last week and last month. And that's what you track. So, and if it's not working out, then you can tweak it. And that's part of the experiment. So it's honing your skill as a carnivore. That's what we're doing here.
Agreed. We have surpassed the 1 hour mark.
Yeah.
So I've got one more comment that I thought we could address if y'all have time, but if anyone needs to leave, now's your chance.
Time flies.
I probably do need to bow out. My brother's driving through town. I got to go see him.
Okay.
All right, Cammy. Bye.
Hi, Cam. Thanks, Cammy. Okay. Well, if you all are here for one more. Ricardo says, I'm on day 3 and I've only been using ghee as my added fat source. Is that enough? I think this kind of follows along the lines a little bit of what we've been talking about, but just off the top of my head, I would say, again, day 3, it might be right now. It's going to be at least 30 days before you kind of get a feel for how you go through this transition. I know I tried to add too much fat too soon, and that gave me some problems. I knew I needed more fat, but like I couldn't digest it well enough. I was still having, just figuring out my electrolytes, figuring out all these other things. And so I tried to change too many things at once. And then I was just like super confused. So I think, perhaps working with one metric at a time is what I would recommend. And then if you're feeling fine and your energy's good, then that might be enough for you. But what do you all think?
Well, I was just going to add to that if you're feeling fine and your energy is good, then you're good. But if you're having a problem, I know when I first started, I did track because I had no idea what so much protein looked like on my plate or so much fat looked like on my plate. So it may help to use one of the free apps like I like Carb Manager. I don't track all the time. I know Nia's been tracking recently because you've tweaked some things, right, Nia? So when you were going to like 80-20, like you didn't know what that looked like. I didn't either. And so just to know that you're getting in enough protein, that your, fat to protein ratio is where you want it to be. It'll show you all of that when you put in what you're eating. So you can see, because I know I thought that I was eating plenty of fat and I put it in and I was like, I could probably add another couple tablespoons of butter, or in your case, ghee. Because it was surprisingly, lower than I thought it was. And like Nia, I feel better when my fat is a little bit higher. So if you start feeling badly and firstly, because you're on day 3, so there may be some transition symptoms coming your way. Okay.
Maybe.
Probably will be.
Yeah, you're in the storm.
You're going to have to get through it. You're going to
Yes.
have to get through it. But after that, and you're fat adapted, I might suggest just doing that, if you feel like you need to tweak some things.
So I just have to say, Ricardo, your hairdo in your picture is absolutely fabulous. I love it. Very nice photo. And I agree with what everybody's been saying, and that is you're really, really early on. Just focus on eating the meat. Focus on eating meat. And then, get through that first 30 days. I think once you get through that, you'll kind of settle where you're going to be at. And then you can start to try to tweak things. But I think I'd say for the first 30 days, you just focus on only eating meat, because during that time, you got to get rid of your carb cravings. If you were, a carbohydrate eater, dealing with all of that. Mentally, it's enough to just focus on eating meat, in my opinion.
Yep. You're going to go through the storm and be prepared for a couple weeks of, what some people would call hell. Could be. It's not going to be fun, but on the other end is smooth sailing and amazing healing and amazing results. It's a new life. So kind of like when you go to the military, you go to boot camp or whatever, and you come out and you're a different person. This is a life-changing event. You become a different person when you come out. And if you stay the course, make sure you focus on your why you're doing this, and make sure it's a big enough why to get you through those tough times, and find a community to plug into and watch YouTube videos daily. Even though they're all saying the same thing, it doesn't matter. You need reinforcement. You need help to get through this. I did. I mean, I watched them. I don't know about you guys. I watched stuff daily. I devoured YouTube when I was going through, especially my first month, trying to figure out how this thing works. And just trust the process. Keep it simple. Like she said, just go ahead. Like Carnivore Grandma said, just eat meat, eat fatty meat, salt, and drink water. Repeat and rinse and repeat, and then do it until you're satiated. And trust your body will take care of it. It will. You'll be there. You'll be on the other end.
I believe a lot in visualization. Think about, and when you wake up in the morning or maybe right before you go to bed, envision how your day is going to go. So you had mentioned in the comments that you are fighting carb cravings. And like everyone's saying, you just have to take it one meal at a time, one thing at a time. Don't let social pressures break you down. Remember the health conditions that you're going to be healing. Remember the changes that you're going to be setting with your social circle as well, because they're going to see you glow. They're going to see you stronger, and it's going to start to break this little bubble that we're all in, that we think that, eating a varied diet is, is healthy. And so you're going to be breaking down a lot of barriers in your life. And so I just want to encourage you and say that I'm proud of you, that you started and that you're doing it. And just keep on going, because just like we all said, trust me, it's going to get better. And if something is not, then you have the opportunity, because you know the protocol to use to your advantage. And I think that's something that we all have lacked for most of our lives, exactly knowing what we need to fix things, because having an answer to a problem, you're going to be a lot less anxious or nervous or, craving that pizza, because you know what's going to be on the other side. So I'm proud of you. Good job.
Ditto.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely a journey for sure, and that's, I think, one of the biggest things that changed my view on all this too is having community and being able to do things like this, or be in other live streams, or just even consume content about this. It makes you feel less alone, and like people understand some of what you're going through. And so stay connected and stay the course. And if you slip up, just get right back on. I know that's something that's happened to me in the past too, where I would let these, kind of like Ellie was saying, I'd let this, or not what you were saying, but with the whole like visualization thing, like I would have a slip up and then I'd be like, oh, you're terrible, you can't stick to this diet, and just like start beating myself up. And then it would just turn into this downward spiral, where I would just end up binging on crap, and then it's like, then you really have to start over. So if you do eat something off plan, where just get right back on the next meal and keep going, because it's the long game we're playing here. So
yep. And I've got a starter series of videos of getting started the first 30, 60, 90 days, what happens if you fall off, all that stuff's in that series. So if you're trying to start and you have questions, it's a good place to jump in and at least look. And then also check out all these guys' videos too. Everyone's got good videos at their experience, and you may not connect or relate to what I did exactly, but you might with some of these other people like Ellie. She has some great stories. So definitely check everyone else's out as well.
yeah, great time to do a little plug for that here at the end. I will link everybody's channel handles in the description here after we sign off. So you can all go subscribe to these various awesome people. And unless anybody has a final comment for today, we'll probably wrap it up here.
Thanks for hosting, Nia.
Yes, thanks, Nia. This
It
has been really, really good.
Always fun. This group's always fun.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you all for being here, and we will have another poll going up on my channel soon. So make sure to cast your vote so that we can see all that information, and that kind of guides our conversations every Thursday. So that'll be coming up soon, and we'll have another episode next Thursday with a great guest panel. So thanks, everybody.
All right.
Love you
Thank
all.
you. Bye.
Bye.